In this video, we're going to develop the pickup wiring and get it in place so that when we decide to wire it into the guitar and put it into the pickguard, all its wires are in place. So if you've watched the other videos, you know there's a black wire located here at the end of the pencil. That black wire is going to be the hot side. There is a black and red, which I took the liberty of soldering together and putting what's called a heat shrink tube, which is located here on the pink blanket. And the heat shrink tube makes sure that the joint that you've soldered does not short circuit to anything else in the guitar. Now, the way that I've done it here, it's essentially non-existent anymore. It's back here. It's not a connection that you're going to have access to solder to anymore. It's connecting the two coils inside this pickup so that we can form one pickup with two coils, one series pickup. So all that's left to do to make a two-wire pickup is to take the ground and the green here and join them together, and I'm going to do something that maybe you might not do. It's certainly possible to take the tip of what I wired right here at the end of this pencil. It's certainly possible to hook up the black, which is here, and the green ground here to your circuit. But I don't like this exposed wire here. This is what gets you in trouble when you pack your electronics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire a third wire into this loop to create a two-wire setup, a black and a green, which will be hooked up to your circuit in your guitar. So first thing I'm going to do is twist these wires, and I think in this case twisting all three of them together will work just perfect. Takes a little bit of practice. There it is. Okay, it's all twisted. I'm going to try and finish wrapping it underneath so it's nice and tight, because I want to shield that with some heat shrink tubing when I'm all said and done. So here we go. Let's put some solder on this joint. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's nice, it's shiny all the way around. It's not going anywhere. It's solid. But what I've got is exposed wiring between here, my finger, and the end of this pencil. So I'm going to grab a nice piece of heat shrink tubing of the appropriate size, which I have in my box here, if I can get my hands on any of it. There we go. Here's my heat shrink tubing. This tube is going to cover that electrical connection from here to here. So I'm going to slip it over my wire here. Slip it over my wire. This is going to be my ground wire, by the way. Green for ground. You could have used another color. The actual color doesn't mean anything except it keeps you from going blind figuring out what's going on. So there's my heat shrink tubing, and you can see that it's swallowing up the exposed wire, okay, to the point where it's no longer visible. Can you see that really well? Now that is a nice job. Okay, so once again, here's my hot wire, the black, and my green, which is not stripped at this point, is going to be my second output from the humbucker pickup. So I'm going to take my soldering station and I'm going to heat this. I'm going to heat this piece of heat shrink tubing up, causing it to shrink and permanently protect this piece of wire from short-circuiting anywhere inside your Fender Stratocaster once you put the lid on. Those wires, they get in there pretty doggone tight, and sometimes they like to short to the back of potentiometers. So, you have just seen how to create a two-conductor pickup out of a humbucker. Okay, there they are. The white and black, they're still here, we just are not going to use them. Now, if you really wanted to get fancy, you could tie down this wire. There's really no need, but for neatness purposes, you could pick up a larger piece of heat shrink tubing and go over that juncture. I don't know if I have a piece that will work. Let's see. Let's see if this piece will do anything for us. It's going to have to go over this junction. Nah, not going to work. So I'm going to leave it just like it is. There's your humbucker with your hot lead and your ground lead. Now we'll take this setup and start installing into the SSS Stratocaster.